Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner.
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is the Horror Miser Monty G.
Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is Jen, and Velvet's with me.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show.
Grab some popcorn and take your seat at Trivial Theater.
Remember that horror rules! Ha 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 ha!
Good evening, folks. Sean Erschen here over at the Horror Corner. And this week we're talking about the Horror Hangouts live stream and the legacy of the show. Been a long time now, going back to our first show was 2018. And here we are in 2024, still going strong. And the future looks bright. But I just wanted to do this video as a tribute to all the work we've done over the years and all the amazing ground that we've covered in the horror genre. And I'm very, very proud of that. And I just want to thank everyone who has ever worked on the show and who's ever been a guest on the show. And that's a big part of it too. We've had some great guests over the years. And it's been great to kind of get a little bit of exposure for some of the smaller YouTubers, as well as some of the bigger YouTubers that have been on this show that have helped give us some exposure. So thank you to everyone that has ever been a guest on the show as well, and who has ever hosted the show. I gotta say, I feel like the show has been my baby, kind of, even though I did not create it. It was created by Chris over at HorrorDigest, who came up with the initial concept of the show, as well as others. They collaborated together. I was just supposed to be a guest on what was called the Google Hangouts Chat. And what happened was, originally, Chris was going to host it over on his channel, but he was having a lot of trouble with the internet. And we all know how the internet can be, especially when you're doing like live streams and stuff. So he was having a lot of trouble with it. So I had a little bit of experience doing it. I had a couple live streams where I tested inviting other people on, and it seemed to have worked out alright, so they decided to give me a crack at it. So I ended up having the first show, over on my channel. And I hosted it, and the rest is history. We ended up having the first official Horror Hangout live stream the very next show. And the name just stuck. Yeah. So proud of everything we've done and continue to do. I think we got a real solid lineup right now, and we've had for quite a while, and love the people I've worked with over the years, and I love this lineup that we got going now, and I hope that stays strong for the future. So I thought this would be fun to do a tribute where we look back at the history of the show. And I got some people to participate and give a few words on their experiences working on the show. I thought that would be fun. So you're going to hear from people from the past on the show and present, of course. So hope you guys enjoy the show, and definitely check out the Horror Hangouts live stream going forward. And maybe you can look back at the back catalog, and don't forget to watch our newest show coming up as well. So, once again, thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Horror Corner, and don't forget to always watch the Horror Hangout live stream. Alright guys, we're live here on YouTube, on my channel, so we were trying to get the live stream going, and we've been having some trouble, so I'm going to try it from my end, from my channel, and see if I can get something going here. It's been kind of a mess, guys. Hey, guys, we're live here at the Horror Corner with Sean Erschen. So we're trying the Google Hangouts Chat. We weren't having much luck with it, so I'm going to try it now.
I think I see you. Hey, what's up?
Hold on, Sean. Happy days.
Happy days. At least we got someone. Like, there he is. Oh. What's up, man? Oh, we got something going here. We're live.
Oh, right. We've got Chris.
This is a clusterfuck.
Here he is. It's a mess. I tried sending the invite to Jason, but he hasn't responded yet.
Maybe if I used a laptop, it'd be a whole lot easier.
What, you using your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm using, my laptop.
Yeah, it's probably best to do that.
Oh, man.
You want that?
What do you guys think of Laurie Strode in this new one? I think she does look badass. She looks like a Sarah Connor type character.
I love the look.
She reminds me of H2O.
Mm-hmm. I love the look of this one. I think it looks a lot like Halloween 6, and I think that's got the best Halloween look to any movie.
For the
I can see that.
I'm not sure whether I want Laurie to cut Michael and get revenge, or if that happens, we won't have another Halloween. So I'm really sorry.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear about the test screenings? Apparently, a lot of people were disappointed with how it ended.
Right.
Oh, wonderful.
Mm-hmm. I can't see people ever being satisfied with it. If they kill Laurie Strode, I just think everybody ought a bit of taste in them out.
Good evening, folks. We are live at the Horror Corner. And this is the Horror Hangout featuring Lisa Loves, Horrific Nightmares, JM, Dave Maggot. I'm going to talk some horror with some good buddies of mine, my fellow YouTubers, my friends, which I'm so happy to have made all these great friends in the horror community on YouTube. It's just been amazing. I'm so thrilled that we got this little clip going, you know? All us horror freaks together, united, with one common goal, and that's our love of horror.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hey, what's up, Monty? What's going on?
Welcome, Mr. Horror Miser Monty G, to the Horror
Monty
Hangout.
G. That's right. Lisa, how you feeling?
T-shirt.
Not too bad, thanks, Monty. The old headache's away now. Thank Christ.
Hey, Monty, I just wanted to say one thing.
Yes.
Get that thing out of my
Get that thing out of my sight.
Next up, guys, we're going to hear from the awesome Lisa Loves, who is part of that initial first ever show we did, and she was on it for a good while. So thank you so much to Lisa Loves for everything you contributed to the Horror Hangouts live stream.
Hello, c'est moi. I bet you didn't expect to see this old bird, but I linger like the wicked witch of the West. I'm back. Thank you so much to Sean for asking me to partake in this celebration of the Horror Hangout, of which I am proud to say I am an OG. Hopefully those of you who came to know the Horror Hangout a little bit later will see some of the originals in this little video Sean's putting together. HorrorDigest was actually the founder of the Horror Hangout. It came from Google Chats, just a bunch of horror fans chatting about our love of movies. He suggested we get together, do a live stream. I think it was pretty early in the days of StreamYard. I don't think it was that many people were doing it to what we have now. And unfortunately, he could never get his internet to properly work. So the actual OG, the founder of Horror Hangouts, HorrorDigest, passed the baton to the Horror Corner. And Sean hosted it implicitly on his channel, and there was no looking back. I have very fond memories of my start with the Horror Hangout, with chatting into the wee small hours of Sunday mornings. I think it probably was much more convenient when I wasn't there because I was in a completely different timeline to everyone else, so they had to have it maybe a little bit earlier than they wanted to include me, which they did, with which I'm very grateful. I think of things like sitting and Movie Massacre being in the middle of a forest with his chainsaw, not being able to get his internet to work, and silly things like when we dress up on Halloween and things that really make me laugh. And I was very happy to pass the baton and keep some female energy alive in the Horror Hangouts by Jen from Jen's Reviews in the Grave being introduced at that stage. I'm sure we can all agree she is one of the most beloved, respected, adorable women in the horror community who is still banging away at... Okay, she'll like that, who's still banging away at it to this day. And let's not forget her young protege, Velvet, who brought the brains, who brought the intelligence, who brought the class to the stream, something it was probably very lacking when I was there. But yeah, the Horror Hangout has had lineup changes, it's had people come and go, it's had new people, it's kept itself fresh, it's always concentrated on what it does best, talking about horror. Just a group of mates from all different walks of life getting together and talking about horror, and what more is there to love than that? So I'd like to thank Sean for asking me to be part of this, one of the OGs of the Horror Hangout. Much love to you all. Thanks for watching. Over and out from Lisa Loves.
I have just sent the invites to join me in the horror corner. That's right, I am not Sean Patrick Erschen. I am the... Oh my god, there is a very scary, horrific presence in our midst.
Have you done it?
Oh my lord, Lisa. You look like King Diamond. That's awesome.
Wait a minute, guys. I have to turn on the volume. I cannot hear you.
I'm a dead Wednesday.
Yes, you are indeed.
We've got two Jasons.
Oh my god, there is... Am I seeing double vision? I cannot handle this. Hellraiser, like, it was an extremely gory movie, but it had such a great story, characters, that it all felt like it fit together very well.
What's that one, Sean?
Yeah.
Hellraiser.
The original.
Oh yeah,
Jen says High Tension is also a great gore film. Yes, it is.
It is. Great gore.
Love that one.
I love French movies.
I did see the twist coming like a mile away.
Did you really?
Was that one also called Switchblade Romance, or am I getting that confused with something?
Yeah, it is.
That's right.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I love that one. Awesome.
It's called Switchblade Romance, and this side it's got the other name.
Yeah, right, okay. That's what I knew it as when I first saw it.
I don't understand why they changed the names of movies for Europe and... Yeah.
You confuse everyone.
What do you think, Lisa?
I'm extremely uneducated on all things Hammer because I don't like it. I'm sorry, don't shoot me, but
I do not either.
to me, like, really old Universal and Hammer's really similar. That it just is to me. I don't know. Maybe I need to like watch them again. Like I haven't tried to watch them for years. I just don't. I like stuff like like Edgar Allan Poe stuff, like The Pit and the Pendulum and that sort of thing.
Right.
But I don't like Hammer. I like Bride of Frankenstein. Is that Universal? This shows you my uneducation. I'll sit here and keep quiet for this question.
Me too.
Hang on 1 second, guys. Sean, we have a request. Phil's creepy video asks that you give us the horror corner with the claw.
Am I performing?
Go on, Sean. Go on. You know you want to.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to the horror corner.
That's awesome.
Alright, good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Hangout live stream. Guess what? We got a very special guest today, Miss Lisa Loves, all the way from Ireland.
Oh, greetings.
One of the OGs of the Horror Hangout. Way back in the day, right, Monty?
The Irish Queen of Horror has made her return.
He's too kind. He's too kind.
It's true.
Even back to, remember the Google Hangout we first called?
Yeah.
Oh, God. My technology head is not very good. I'm just about pleased I got on here.
Now let's hear from the man himself, Chris, over at HorrorDigest, who is now an actor and a director. He's also a musician, so multi-talented guy and just an awesome dude. And thank you so much, Chris, for all you've done for this show. Hit it.
What's going on, guys? It's Chris Robertson, indie actor and songwriter. So let's talk about the Horror Hangout YouTube channel today. I started on YouTube, say about 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. Just doing something I love, the love of horror, and doing reviews. I started small. You know, I wasn't really thinking it was going to be anything big. I mean, it really wasn't a big channel. My personal channel, HorrorDigest, is also that I go by. All my YouTube friends know me as HorrorDigest. But yeah, it was just something small I wanted to do. I started out with doing reviews on like VHS movies. I think I might have had a couple of VHS. It's been a while since I've been on my YouTube channel. I've created a new channel for my music, and I'm trying to see where that leads me. But yeah, I started off. I think my channel ended up having 500 subscribers, but along the way, I met awesome YouTubers like Horror Miser Monty G. I met Sean Patrick Erschen. There's a lot of good people I've met along the way. I can't name them all, but if I missed you, I'm really sorry. But I had this idea of you know, I was like, hey, you know what? There's other people that enjoys what I do. There's horror fans like me out there. These guys, I think we should just start a group chat, or not a group chat, but a group hangout, reviewing movies and horror stuff. Unfortunately, I only, even though I created it, I was only in like the maybe first 2 or 3, if that. Just due to life, man. I've been moving and moving and moving. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, I guess, where I'm at now. So, created a channel, and by the way, Sean and Horror Miser Monty G, you're doing really great. You're doing really great with that channel, and I really appreciate that you keep on doing what you're doing with the channel. It means a lot, man. It means a lot. Started to help fund small horror projects. I landed a few small roles, and it's really been an honor, man. So I went my own different way, you know, took my own path, funded those small projects, landed a couple of very small roles. Nothing major, you know, but I got my foot in the door. You got to start from somewhere, and I don't want nothing but success for all my fellow YouTubers, man. You know, I wanted us all to be successful, man. That's all I want for anybody, man, trying to be successful out there. Either whether you want to be an influencer, an actor, or a singer, anything, man, anything. You put your mind to it, you can do it. Slowly but surely getting to where I want to be. It's been a tough ride, man, because I've made some sacrifices. So I made plenty of sacrifices, man. I mean, I lost my car, man, trying to do this thing. You know, I mean, that's not something I'm proud of either, but sometimes you got to make sacrifices to get where you want to be. And I've made those sacrifices. I was in my local newspaper, which is called the Gaffney Ledger, from my hometown, Gaffney, South Carolina. It's a very small town, man, and I'm so proud that I could do that for my town. Just to even be on screen for like 3, 4, 5 seconds, man. I mean, that's a big thing for my town. I mean, and then I write music on the side, you know. I got a cameo. I've made it on Cameo. I did a cameo the other day. I wanted all my friends to be successful, man. I mean, you don't, how do I word it? Let's see, you got to help people be successful, man. You got to stay humble. You got to stay humble. But, it's been a long journey, man, and I'm still doing my thing, and I'm gonna make it to the top, man. And just like I hope all my fellow YouTubers from the Horror Hangout makes it to the top, man. We all doing what we love, man, and that's horror. And there's not a better community than the horror community. There's a lot of great people. Sean and Horror Miser Monty G, please keep on doing your thing, man, and I appreciate how far you have taken it. I really appreciate that. Another thing I'm doing, I'm writing my own movie. I forgot to mention that. I'm in the process of writing my own script for my movie called Glitched, looking for a 2000, maybe 26, 27 release date. I mean, I've kind of got behind on that due to the hurricane that came through here. Wiped everything out, and I lost some files on my computer, man, and I had to start pretty much from scratch. But it's going to get done. Sometimes in life, people will tell you that you can't do stuff, man. Okay? Don't listen to those haters, man. Most of the time, they're just jealous. They're just jealous, man, and you just got to stay humble, man. You stay humble. If you let it get to your head, man, it's gonna be taken away, man. Simple as that. I've always stayed humble. I always try to thank everybody, man. Okay? But this is not all about me. This is about Sean and everybody, man. This goes for everybody. Sean, Horror Miser Monty G, all of y'all, man. It's an honor that after all these years, we still in contact, man. You don't ask for no better people than that. But, yeah, just stick with me through this journey, man. And hopefully in a couple years, my movie will come out. And I'm keeping on with my songwriting, man. And they're going to keep on with this channel, man. They're going to keep on with this channel, and they're going to make it something, man. I mean, we're going to share it. Everybody share this channel. Do all you can to show the love. It's been going for a while. So, anyways, love you, Sean. Love you, Horror. And anybody I missed, stay humble. Peace.
Let's hear from the awesome Dave Maggot McDonough, who is a film director who was a part of that initial lineup for the Horror Hangouts live stream. Awesome dude, fellow Massachusetts guy, Let's hear from Dave Maggot.
So around like 2018, Sean Erschen was really the first person to reach out to me and kind of like accept me into the horror community. I had my channel for about maybe like 4 years. By then I was making a movie around the time, getting the movie out and whatnot, and Sean noticed my channel and kind of like took me into the group and all that, and then we started the Horror Hangout. I remember the first one, we were doing a HorrorDigest channel, Chris, and just like kind of like blended us all together as a group, for better or for worse over the years. Yeah, it was really like, it just really felt like being accepted into a community, and it was really fun just talking about horror movies and stuff like that with everybody. And yeah, it was kind of like what got the ball rolling, and then we kind of like blend it with other sections of the community and whatnot who had already been established and whatnot, and it was kind of, yeah, just really like blending everything together and kind of like getting the ball rolling. Sean was the first person I met from the horror community in person at a convention and stuff like that, and yeah, just kind of started everything up,
Shark versus zombie.
Yeah, I love that scene.
Oh yeah, Shark versus zombie. Oh man, I would have shit my pants if I was working on that movie.
That's insane that they use the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about fucking insurance. Shit.
Man.
If you think about it, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't that happen if you believe zombies would come back?
Yeah.
What about you, Dave? What's your favorite Fulci film?
Now, I call it Gates of Hell, but most people know it as City of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
I just love the Gates of Hell title better.
That's actually my second best Lucho movie. Is Gates of Hell.
Mm.
It rains maggots in it.
I love that scene.
And they use real maggots too. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, freaking hell.
I bet every one of them had a name. I don't know. Yeah, it's just like teleporting zombies. Like a girl throws up everything in her stomach. Like anything inside is outside. I don't know. The movie's just awesome.
He's had so many great scenes.
He has. I know.
And a lot of it doesn't involve zombies. That's what's funny about it. Like the guy getting the drill on his head.
That's another Bob. He hates Bobs. He hates the guy's named Bob.
Fuck you, Bob.
Fucking Bobs.
I hate Bobs.
Can't think the hell, Bob.
That guy, that Bob. Oh man, he's got a rough life. Like he gets caught with a blow. He gets caught with a blow-up doll. Everybody hates him. Yeah, everybody beats him up. And then he gets his head drilled in. Like, why was Bob in this movie? To get his head drilled in? Bob. Fucking Bob. Yeah.
Robert. Creepy though with that girl. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a total creeper. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Jen and Christian?
I agree with Jason. I think John Carpenter definitely enhanced the movie rather than detracted from the movie. And I know he didn't particularly like it, but I've always been kind of cool with the whole brother-sister aspect. I know John Carpenter himself, he was on a deadline for that, but I don't mind it. I think it's a good movie. Like Jason said, pacing is a little bit, I'd say that Psycho 2 might be a little bit more of a perfect sequel, but I get where you're coming from, Jason, with it. Yeah, I do. I agree. I think it was, John Carpenter handled it well.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I'm fine with him directing it. I just wish he had it wasn't on such a strict deadline, because you can kind of tell, like, I'm one of those people that has a problem with the brother-sister angle, so I kind of wish he would have had a little more time to hang out the script a little bit more and get a little bit tighter.
You don't think the brother and sister angle's kind of cool?
No, I don't. I always thought it was kind of lazy, even when I was a kid watching that. So I was like, because I didn't know that when I first watched all those movies. When I got to 2 and they revealed that, I was like, really? We're doing this lazy thing? It's kind of cooler that he just wanted to kill this girl.
Don't listen to him. He likes 3, so his opinion does not matter.
I like 3 too.
I love 3.
Take his thoughts with a grain of
I
salt.
like 3 too. And Brad's not here, so I can say that Halloween 3 is the best movie ever made.
When Brad gets in here, he'll back me up.
Oh man.
Just want to take a minute, guys, to acknowledge the legacy cast of the Horror Hangouts live stream. Everyone that worked on the show in the past incarnations of the Horror Hangout live stream, including Hellhound from the Horror and Metal channel, HorrorDigest, of course, Lisa Loves, Horrific Nightmares JM, Bronco Juggalo Talks Movies, Dave Maggot, and Movie Massacre. Thank you everyone for the work you did on the show. Did a great job, and thank you for everything. Shit.
As for me, my favorite in the sequel to the franchise is Part 6. So I thought it was somewhat a much more continuation story of Tommy Jarvis's story. Obviously, we have Zombie Jason, whatever everyone likes to refer to or call him. I think we had some decent kills. We had Alice Cooper music throughout the movie. Love the soundtrack, love the kills. So me, it's always going to be Part 6 is my favorite sequel in the franchise.
You know, according to the director of Part 4, he was actually a zombie in Part 4 too. Hey, I got
to
a
me,
question for everybody.
to me, he's dead from the beginning, from when he drowned in the lake.
Yeah, he drowned.
I got a question for everybody.
Up on that boat.
We're talking about the sequels at the moment. I asked this last night too on I asked this last night on the Slash Brothers stream. Everybody's just, I would say probably 70% of the people you ask say that Kane Hodder's their favorite Jason.
Stop it.
But that same 70% will say that all the movies he's in are in the worst of the franchise. So how can he be a favorite Jason when he's in the worst movies?
I would agree with that.
Not in the worst movies, Brad.
He's only in the worst movie.
But
No, like most people really
he's
hate
in the
on,
worst movie.
most people hate on 7, 8, 9, and 10. People hate on those movies like constantly.
I'll only shit on one of those movies.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. There's one I don't like, and that set of movies he's in. I have no problem with any. I don't have a problem with any of his performance in the movies he's in, and other than that one, which I'll probably mention about that later on in the night. Yeah, but I don't have a problem with his performance. You know, it's just the fact that he gives Jason the scarier fact of making him an unnatural slasher, where anything you can try to do with him, he survives it. I think that's one of the reasons why people don't like the fact is that he's almost just as bad as Michael Myers when it comes to physical punishment. And I think that's one of the problems people have.
I think he was scarier back before Kane. I thought the other Jasons with, faster moving and, more athleticism and more of a hunter mentality were much scarier than just walking around slashing people.
Yeah, but Kane can teleport.
Yeah.
I was just curious because generally speaking,
I want to be in the horror corner so bad. Well, hello, Dardy. Oh, phone's ringing. It's Dardy. He asked if I want to be on his show. Do I? I better unleash the Kraken and have a shit and a bath. He burns. Anyways, I better wash that swampy smell off my balls. JJ, I think Dardy likes Barbara Crampton. What cologne does she wear?
Never mind that, just get on with it, you silly chuff.
Well, hello, Mr. Erschen. I was asked to say a few words about the Horror Corner. To be honest, I believe I was on episode 1 and 2 in 2018. I can hardly remember it. But anyway, I had fun, mainly because I had my hands down below, because my undercrackers were off camera. I don't really remember much of being in the Horror Corner, so please, have me on more. So I'll have new memories of it, Daddy. Have me on more. Just got something important to say. Before you get up on this stage, just get up and say your piece. Don't give us your political opinions. Just pat yourselves on the back, thank you God, and fuck off. But just before we get on with it, I just want to say it's an absolute honour to be presenting in front of movie stars like Will Smith and Hulu's Pinhead, that's obviously dressed as Jada Pinkett Smith. Oh, there's no need for that. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. I'm only messing. Bloody hell, Will Smith just slapped shit out of me, but, no need. My wife's name out your fucking mouth! There's no need for me to salt lament configuration once he's sending Cenobite Will Smith to slap me about like I'm Kirsty Cotton, is there? Oh, for fuck's sake, I'll take this one like a champ, shall I? Well, that was awkward, wasn't it? Anyhow, I personally want to take this time to celebrate you. We all know how much you love horror. You never shut up about it. But what stands out the most for me is your passion for community. You've always been an active member of it, not just through creating content, but through supporting others and having a phenomenal show that isn't just built around horror movies, but a show that's built around bringing the community together as one. Show doesn't care if you're a small channel or the sexiest like Horror Miser Monty G. He works hard to make the community a better and well-connected place for everybody to be in. And that is definitely something to be admired. And I just want to say, Sean, thank you for that. And I have a present from myself and the rest of the community as a huge thank you for everything you've done for horror and the community itself. A kaiju-sized reward. Release the Kraken! Daddy.
He always has to ruin something nice, doesn't he?
All right, Sean, why do you like gore so much in horror films?
I'm not so much a gore hound per se, but like the others have said, it's the artistic side of things. I guess I'm always interested to see how they did a certain effect, or all the work that went into it. I know all the work that goes into it, and I always find that interesting. And I guess it depends on if they spent a lot of money on it, if it looks good, if it looks close. The closer to realistic that it looks, the more interesting I find it, I guess. But sometimes it's fun too if it's cheesy and campy, like it looked like someone just spilled ketchup on the guy's arm or something. Sometimes that's fun too, but it's the entertainment of it all. That fantasy, you would never want to see it happen in real life, so it's okay if it happens on the screen.
All right, moving Oscar, what do you like or enjoy watching gore in horror films?
I might get swatted in a minute. If I just like seeing people get annihilated on screen.
Oh yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah. I just love it. I used to have I told my brother this, and he got a little worried. It's like I had a meter that just needed to be filled with gore. I just needed to see it, and that's how it started. And then I get older, and sometimes it makes me feel bad when I see people get killed in certain films. I'll tell you one later. And yeah, it's just not very nice. The reason why I like gore, I just like seeing people get ripped to pieces. Sorry.
But I still think it's the human condition. I still think we like to think we're such an advanced race, but we haven't come that far from the Colosseum. There's still some part of us, I think, that deep down likes to see carnage, this kind of voyeuristic kind of savage nature, and we can have all the technology and all the social graces we want, but I think deep down there is still a part of us that revels in carnage.
Yeah, I like to see how far it can take me when I watch films. It's like I saw Human Centipede, and people were saying how brutal that was. Oof, well, it wasn't. And then I watched the second one, and that was amazing.
I would say I love that baby. I love the baby.
That second movie, Jesus Christ! No.
I love that.
Yeah, the unsubscription of life from that child when she gives birth to it in that car. She's slamming the pedal down. It's like, oh my god! That's what you want. That's what you want.
Tom 6 really took it to the level with all three of those films.
Now it's time for Marty over at the Trashed Picture Show, our resident Irishman representing the great country of Ireland. Let's hear from the Trashed Picture Show.
Guys, I have been asked to contribute to this fantastic acknowledgement of the Horror Hangouts crew. I was so lucky to be embraced and allowed into the inner circle of these fantastic folks who absolutely adore and know their stuff when it comes to horror. I mean, you could not work with a nicer bunch of people. First off, you have our fearless leader, Sean, from the Horror Corner. This man is an absolute cinephile, and when it comes to knowing the intricacies of the Halloween franchise, he is second to none. Again, an absolute legend in his own time. Speaking of legends, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the absolute fantastic man himself, the Horror Miser Monty G. This dude is so funny, so nice, so engaging. You couldn't ask for a better person to work alongside in the Horror Hangout crew. He is so funny, and his laugh is infectious. He is the best laugh ever. Next up, we have a wonderful lady who's animated in both body and spirit. That is Triv from Trivial Theatre. This woman, for better or worse, has a wonderful encyclopedic knowledge of schlock, which she knows inside and out. I mean, there is stuff that no human being should watch that Triv watches and rips apart in the funniest and most jovial of ways. Again, another great member to this fantastic band of fiends. And lastly, I suppose I should mention that lunatic from New Mexico, Jen Mitchell. What can I say about Jen Mitchell? What can't I say about Jen Mitchell? As much as she is a lunatic, she's absolutely gorgeous. As much as she is a nutcase, she is brilliant, and I think no one in the group would contest that Jen and Sparky have been some of the funniest contributors to the Horror Hangouts, And another reason I love the Horror Hangouts was because it introduced me to Jen, and as a result I became her other half. If it wasn't for Horror Hangouts, I would have never met this wonderful woman and have been on this crazy wild ride, which we've been going for now, Jesus, maybe 4 years, 3 years? Christ, I need a drink. But yeah, the Horror Hangouts crew is probably the nicest bunch of folks you could ever work with. And that goes for some of their past members as well, including Lisa Davies, Movie Massacre, and Jason from Horrific Nightmares, along with a bunch of other cool folks as well. It is a great group of people to be part of. And again, thank you Horror Hangouts for introducing me to an absolutely wonderful girl.
When the monster from Splice does it, they get judged.
It was sort of like a science fiction take on his Woody Allen's biography right there.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Soon Yi.
Oh man.
Dear God.
What about in From Beyond when Barbara Crampton gets dressed in the
Oh God damn it, the dominatrix outfit.
Basically rapes
Yeah! Okay,
yeah.
That's not
while
what
he's
bothers
sleeping.
me, right? What bothers me is he's hairless and covered in acid burns.
Yeah.
That's like,
Hey, that's hot. Don't kink, Marty. Don't kink shame.
And really, guys, like, I mean, could Barbara Crampton really rape any guy?
Dear God.
Because, I mean, she's Barbara fucking Crampton. Are any of you guys going to say no? I think not.
okay, look. On any other day of the week, no. But if I was suffering from, if I had actually been set in fire, right, Jane, I was convalescing in the hospital, and you were like, well, he's there, it's up, I'll hop on. I would be like, get the fuck off. Get the fuck. I'm in pain, woman. Get off me.
See, I'd cover myself in Neosporin or something.
Oh man. Yeah.
See, I think about you.
He gets the arrow going.
Yeah, okay.
I do like the idea, but as you said, it's cliched. But then again, this isn't fucking Gone with the Wind either. Like, we're not, you know.
Well, that one I could give you an in-depth analysis of.
But
It could be the Gone with the Wind of the Kaiju.
Frankly, my con, I don't give a damn. But yeah, so, like,
He cannot, and not like when it comes to most of the more successful movies in the franchise, he did not write them. He did not write them, but the ones when he did wrote, oh God, just stick to directing.
like the Resident Evil games were never fucking Shakespearean fucking stories to begin with.
You were almost.
But after the third one, after the Mad Maxi fucking one, they all started to blend together, and at that point I realized, okay, this is just a dude making movies to keep his wife in fucking money and keep her career fucking relevant.
Pretty much.
No, I'm not trying to be a dick, but the fact is, it is so, like, he makes his wife like fucking Superman by the fucking fourth or fifth one. She's like fucking got psychic kinetic powers, she's clothed.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck, man? Just and the thing that really annoyed me was with the Marvel movies, it had a positive effect with in regard that the source material made the movies, and then the movies started to affect the comics, which was good. But in this, it was a case that the movies, the bad kind of Resident Evil movies, started to affect the later games, such as 5 and 6. And just, yeah, like, you know what I mean? It became more Michael Bay than George A. Romero, those fucking later games.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like 6 especially. 5 is one of those games where I will entirely acknowledge that game is really bad, especially on a story front, but I kind of have fun with it. But 6 is so just, God, what are you trying to do here?
It's like 24 set in the fucking Resident Evil universe. What the fuck?
Let's hear from my brother over at the Morbid Hour live stream, who was also a part of the Horror Hangout live stream for a good while. Hellhound over at the Horror and Metal channel. Let's hear it from Mr. Hellhound.
So, just to talk about a little bit of my history with the Horror Hangouts live stream, and just the kind of community, just kind of network that they have built over the last few years. Just kind of how it all began, at least from my perspective, is, when I was in middle school and growing up, I didn't know anybody else who was as into horror movies as I was. I didn't really know another movie fan that was my age. Most of my peers were really, really into video games, and I was too, of course, but I was nowhere near as passionate about them as I was with horror. So I kind of felt, all alone. I kind of felt like a freak, an outcast, because I didn't have anybody, my age or even older that shared my same interest in the horror genre. So, of course, when the internet came along, after a few years, when it kind of took off and became closer to what it is today, it was really awesome to discover that not only are there, hundreds, if not thousands of people just like me out there, but there's people I've seen on YouTube that have a movie collection that puts mine to shame. It's like, wow. I mean, some of these people have taken it even further, and it's so great to know that all these people exist, and it's really cool to be a part of it. So as for the Horror Hangout live stream itself, I remember when it first began. I forget the name of the YouTuber whose channel it started on, but I knew all the YouTubers who were a part of it. I was good friends with them. After starting my own channel, I started making videos in 2015, and after a while I started meeting, not meeting in person, but getting to know all these different YouTubers who shared my love of horror, and many of them were a part of it. Again, I forget the YouTuber his channel was on, but I remember when it moved to Sean Ershen's channel. Sean Erschen is, of course, a good friend, and he's a fellow Morbid Hour member, which is another live stream that I do with him and HorrorFan88. Sean Ershen was one of my first friends on YouTube as well, and one of the YouTubers that I really got to know more over the years. And it moved to his channel. I remember pretty early on they had me as a guest on there, and that's what they do. They have guest appearances frequently. They'll just be, be the main members, then they'll be featuring a guest appearance, which is an awesome idea, and they still do that to this day. I was a guest for 1 or 2 episodes maybe, then I became a full-time member. I was a regular. I was part of the Horror Hangouts, which was really awesome. I loved being a part of it, and it's just come such a long way, this community, this network that we've built, just people who share their love of horror and other things that we're passionate about. It's just wow, I wish I would have had that when I was when I was growing up. It was that would have been really awesome. Because like I said, I felt all alone with things I enjoy. Nobody could relate to it whatsoever. And so so I was part of the Horror Hangouts for a while. I can't remember how many episodes I did with them as an official member. But then life started getting busy. I was working a lot, and I had just gotten full custody of my daughter. So I had her full time. I was very, very busy parenting and working. When I wasn't working, I was parenting and vice versa. So I wasn't able to commit to it quite as much anymore. So I eventually just kind of phased out over time, and they still wanted me to be a part of it, and I wanted that as well. But I just couldn't find the time. But I have kept up with it, since then, and they've gone through a lot of different members. There's been a lot of different YouTubers that have been part of it over the years. It's really, really fascinating to see how far it's come since its inception, and I'm still good friends with a lot of these YouTubers, and we talk on Facebook, and it's even gone as far as exchanging Christmas cards during the Christmas season with some of them, and then also when my horrific accident happened 5 years ago, I almost lost my life, and when I was in the hospital, I heard from a lot of them. They were checking on me, and they were very supportive and compassionate with my journey, my healing process, and learning to walk again after being in a wheelchair so long. So that meant a whole lot to me. They really helped me a lot with that struggle, and it's really cool to see that it's much more than just people on the internet who love horror. It's much, much more than that. The Horror Network, the Horror Hangout crew, again, talking to them and getting to know them, and discussing horror and other things we're interested in is has been definitely one of the highlights of starting this channel and starting my YouTube channel. And those are some very fond memories. And, again, I met a lot of got to know, well, not in person, but I got to know a lot of really, really cool people, and I'm very happy to have them in my life. So yeah, if you haven't actually watched a Horror Hangout live stream, I would definitely say check it out. And, you get to know a lot of really, really cool people who are very passionate about horror and other really interesting subjects. And if that's your thing, then, these are some of the most generous, most well-mannered, most down-to-earth people. Horror fans in general are very like that. They're, some people think, horror fans are violent. No, I myself wouldn't harm an insect, even if it's in my house. I just let it be. And most horror fans are like that too. Horror is a very positive outlet, I think, and getting to know some of these people has been a testament to that. Very cool people. The Horror Hangout, hopefully it'll continue going forever. All right, this is Hellhound from the Horror and Metal channel, signing off.
Hellhound has a lot to say. I know Hellhound has a lot to matter.
I sure do. I hated the trailer. Both thumbs down. Absolutely hated it. When I heard they're making a Child's Play remake, I was like, no, somebody make sure that doesn't happen. Make sure that doesn't happen. Remake a bad movie that had a good idea. There's a lot of bad movies that had a good idea that weren't executed properly. Like Scarecrow. That was a great idea. Crappy movie. Don't remake a good movie that's good to begin with. And another reason to remake a movie is if the series is dead, if the series had crappy entries. That's not the case with Child's Play. Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky are both very good. They're still strong. Why start all over now? How old is this kid? Like 14, 15? What the hell is he doing still playing with dolls? With that? Chucky? What the hell?
It's a robot.
Chucky's such an iconic character.
No. It's not a doll. It's an action figure.
Yeah. The robot. Chucky's such an iconic character. You shouldn't do it without Brad Dourif. He shouldn't be not possessed by a serial killer. It just doesn't work. If they're calling it something else, I think the idea of a killer doll, another killer doll movie is awesome, especially one that's AI. It's not a bad idea. Don't call it Child's Play. Don't use the Chucky name. It's funny because they're doing that because more people will see it, but I'm not going to see it because of that, because they're calling it Child's Play. Now I won't see it because of that, because it's a soulless cash-in with no passion behind it whatsoever, just making a quick buck. Remake something that sucked, not something that was great, especially when the series is still going strong. Both thumbs down. Everybody keeps asking me, to watch the trailer? To watch the trailer? You're going to see the movie? No, I'm not going to see it. I'm pretending it doesn't exist. I'm boycotting it. It looks like shit. I'm not going to watch it.
I thought Brad hated the trailer.
It doesn't look like Chucky. It's not Chucky. That's not what Chucky is. No, that's not how you make a Chucky movie. No, bad. It was better when it wasn't all about Pinhead. Like, I liked it when he's awesome. He's awesome, but I think he worked better as like a background character. It's kind of more of a support.
You didn't want to see him too much, yeah.
Yeah. It was like kind of less is more. You didn't want to show him too much.
Yeah, the Hell Priest.
That was always my biggest gripe with that series is they don't show enough Pinhead.
Yeah. The later sequels, they take some weird story and they just throw Pinhead in there somewhere, and he has nothing to do with anything. I don't like when they do that.
That's because none of the movies were written as Hellraiser films. They were all other scripts.
Throw them in there.
I think the original is the best, and the second one comes very close. Part 2 comes very, very close. But the original is my favorite. I think it had the best storyline, the best characters, awesome looking special effects. I love that movie. It's great. But I'd love to see one go back to the roots. I'd love to see one more like the first 2 movies. They haven't really done that.
Now let's hear from one of the all-time greats, chosen by none other than Lisa Lubbs herself. And that is Jen and Velvet over at Jen's Reviews from the Grave.
Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, this is Jen, and today I am thrilled to be included in this wonderful segment that Sean Patrick Erschen has put together to tell you guys all about the Horror Hangouts crew, which I am proud to say I am a member of. And I just want to put a little my segment together to let you guys know about the wonderful people that I am so lucky that I get to work with and come together once a month and talk about a fascinating horror topic. And when I mean this, guys, the people that I get to work with in the group are some of the best and brightest in our horror community. Their knowledge and just their reputations, I mean, they know no bounds. And everybody, even though we're a very diverse group, I think that's one of our biggest strengths, is that the group is something that we all bring something to the table. Well, there's this one loudmouth from New Mexico. I don't know if she brings anything, but the rest of the members are fucking dynamite and awesome people. And I would like to tell you about them. And the first person I want to tell you about is our fearless leader, Sean Patrick Erschen of the Horror Corner. And that is such a cool gimmick. I feel like we're all just little kids whenever we're watching a videos of Sean's and he's about to do this hand thing. And we're all just like, say it! He's gonna say it! We all love that, and that is pure Sean. And I can tell you a lot about our fearless leader. Sean, there are so many things to tell you guys about Sean, but some of the most important things is, at least on the horror and the work end of our group, he is the adult in the group. They're all adults compared to me, but Sean is like the big adult. Sean just brings such an energy of calmness, and he's so laid back, and if things are going wrong behind the scenes, you'd never know it from watching to Sean. One of the things I most admire about Sean is there's this kind of level of calm and zen to the guy. He doesn't let much make him sweat. Aside from his leadership skills is his knowledge, especially. He is definitely someone who makes us remember our horror past. When it comes to the Hammer horror or the Frankenstein or any of the Universal movies, I mean, you can't get a better person than Sean Patrick Erschen to talk about these subject matters. Not only is he a classics guy, there is no better person to talk about the Halloween franchise. And one of the things I love talking when we're talking about that particular subject with Sean is he is fair. He loves the franchise. He's a huge, massive Halloween fan, but he is not an unreasonable Halloween fan. He is someone who will acknowledge when there's problems, and he does that with no matter what subject he's talking about in horror, and that's with everybody in our group. But I love listening to Sean talk about the Halloween franchise. I mean, he is just someone always interesting to listen to, whatever movie we're discussing. But there's just such a kindness and such a class, and like I said, the thing you can take from Sean is he's just a super mellow zen guy, which is kind of funny because he's also a huge metalhead, but he's also just such a quiet, mellow, laid-back guy. I also think he might be a secret serial killer in his real life, but I think he only kills people who actually have it coming, so I'd never turn him in. But that is what you guys can know about Sean Patrick Erschen, our fearless leader. He is definitely the one that has kept this Horror Hangouts going. He's one of the founding members, and he's the one that's been keeping it alive for all these years. And the Horror Hangouts would not be what Horror Hangouts is if it wasn't for Sean. And I love you, Sean. You've done such a wonderful job, and again, it's such an honor to get to say I get to work with you every month. Going from the leader and the calmness of the group, I'm going to go, if Sean is our fearless leader, Monty is the glue of our group, the Horror Miser Monty G. And much like Sean, some of us know him as Grandpa Horror, and he is somebody who also reminds us of our past. But he has his particular genre is the 70s when he was growing up. So if you want to talk about a movie from the 70s, be it Jaws or The Exorcist or some more lesser known movies, it's not just the mainstream things. That's another thing I love about Monty, is that he can talk about the big budget stuff that everyone knows about, but he'll bring stuff like The Car that hardly anybody talks about, and he can give you quite an education. And like I said, he is kind of the glue and the Phil Hartman of our group. And the reason I say that is because Monty is the one who, like, he knows everyone. He is so good with networking. Everybody loves and knows Monty in this community, and everybody, if you're a creator, then you've probably, chances are, have done a video or a live stream with Monty at some down in the road. And the reason why everyone wants to work with Monty is because his streams are fun. I was just, in fact, this evening, I was just on a stream with him, and I had a blast. And even though Monty and I had very different opinions on what the stream was about, we still had fun, and we could agree to disagree. And that's the fun thing about Monty, is as long as you're not a dick about it, he won't be a dick to you, and he can give you quite a hell of an education and give you a different perspective than what you might have came to the table with. And again, like I said, he just holds us all together, and we all love Monty. Like everybody, I defy anybody in this community that doesn't love the Horror Miser Monty G. I know I love him, and again, his wealth of knowledge, it's not just pigeonholed into the past. He is just as up on the current stuff as me and Sparky are. He watches all the new movies, and he doesn't limit himself to horror. He also knows about all the big movies that are coming out. He is a cinephile, and he is just so much fun to talk to, and he really is everybody's grandpa. He is our Phil Hartman. Everybody loves him, and like I said, I know I sure do. Going from people I love, this next person is someone who came on to one of our Horror Hangout streams, and I just kept saying throughout the whole show, can we keep her? And I think everybody else was pretty much feeling on the same page, and that is, of course, the beautiful animated Trivial Theater. And God, are we so lucky to have Triv on there. She brings so much fun and so much chaotic energy, and like when we're together, it's just fucking magic. I love Triv so much, and it's never boring when Triv is on our stream, and that is why after she was a guest once, I was like, no, we have to kidnap her, we have to keep her. I love this woman, and again, much like Monty, I defy anybody in this community who doesn't fucking love that animated trivial of wealth of trivial knowledge. And trivial is a very not the right name, I think, because trivial is the one thing that Triv is not. She knows her stuff about everything, and she comes from a little bit different perspective, and I think that is why she works so well on the Horror Hangouts group, because she's into more the schlocky and the really, really out there and oddity movies, but she has just like everybody else in this group, she has such a wealth of knowledge, and she is so much fun, and she also is the hardest working member of the group. She always comes to the table prepared, and if she's not familiar with a subject, she will make herself familiar and can talk all of us horror people who've been talking horror all of our lives. She can shame us and out horror us under the table any day of the week, because she's brilliant, and she's not only beautiful and knows all of her stuff, she's also fucking brilliant, and we are so lucky to have her. And again, not only does she bring the book smarts to it, she also brings the fun. And also on this current group of people, I have to talk about someone who's very, very a little bit more personal with me, and that would be my daughter Velvet. You all know Velvet, and just like the older members of us, and I include myself in the older members, she brings the fresher, hipper, cooler perspective of horror movies. And what I like about Velvet is she will shut us old curmudgeony horror fans down and tell us, no, you guys opinions are old and outdated. But they do it in such a classy, articulate way. You can't get mad at them. They bring a breath of fresh air and a sense of youth, and they're not going to like me talking about them, but I don't care. They're not here right now, so I have to include. I know it's a little bit biased, but even if they weren't my daughter, they know their stuff. They've been watching horror since they were about 6 years old, and they started on the Hammer Horror and the Universal, and they've never looked back. And they can talk to anything about any subject matter regarding horror or just film in general. And I am so proud to be their mother, and I'm so proud to get to work with them in this capacity, because I love them. They're my kid, but I can also say that no bullshit, I'm very proud of them and proud of their knowledge of it. And the last person, at least on the current lineup that I have to talk about, I'm not sure if he's English or Scottish. Maybe he's Irish. I don't know him very well. Okay, all bullshit aside, guys, Marty, and this isn't the girlfriend part of it talking about, you guys all know the Trash Picture Show, and y'all love the Trash Picture Show. I know the Trash Picture Show, and I fucking love him too. And, but again, I'm not speaking as his girlfriend. The reason what makes Marty the shine in our group is, again, he is a cinephile. He cannot, he definitely takes us into the sci-fi realm. That is where he is super comfortable. And when there's any sort of sci-fi horror, and I'm not just talking about Alien and Predator, although much like Sean with Universal and Hammer Horror, he is your go-to guy for any Alien and Predator subject matter you want to talk about. And if you don't know something, Marty will know about it. But he also, like Triv, knows a lot about the more obscure the more obscure films and the things that you might not have heard about that haven't been talked to death for a million times. And he brings such a fresh and fun perspective. And he is a really good balance where me and Triv are a little bit on the crazy side. Marty can play, but he can also reel it in. And you can have fun with Marty, but you can also have a very serious and deep discussion. And he always brings in interesting points. And like I said, why this group works so well is because we're all bringing in different voices, but because we're all pretty reasonable people, we can agree to disagree and bring out good points. And there have been times where I've come into a stream and having one opinion, and then I'll hear one of these brilliant people talk, and I'll be like, you know what, they make a good point. They really do. And those are the wonderful people of the current Horror Hangouts group. But before I go, I also have to nod my head to the past, because there were some wonderful people before me, and some people that I got to work with for a brief time before they left for various reasons. And I want to shout out those people very quickly. And the first person I want to shout out is Lisa Loves, and I'm starting with her for a very good reason. Lisa Loves is the reason why I'm on Horror Hangouts. It was Lisa who suggested me to Sean that I should be on this group, and I've always been very indebted to her. And I've gotten to work with her once. She came back as a guest, and I'm just so sorry that the time difference didn't allow her to be able to continue with Horror Hangouts, because I love working with Lisa. Again, just like Sean, a super classy lady, but someone who knows her films and is fun to talk about. And while she's classy, she's not that stuck-up classy. She's a lot of fun, and she's one of the kindest people I've ever met. And I've always loved Lisa. And if you're watching this, Lisa, I just want to give you a big old virtual hug, because I admire you greatly, and I will always be indebted to you for recommending me to come on to Horror Hangouts. There is also Horror Metal, Pat, who I got to work with. He is now working with Sean on Morbid Hour, and Pat was so much fun. My favorite memory of Pat is In Space. If you've seen that episode, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Pat is much like Sean, a metalhead, but a very quiet guy. But when he gets talking about something he's passionate about, oh, it's so much fun to talk about. And we hit on a passionate subject that night where we were talking about sending all of our favorite slashers to space. And that's all I can say about Pat, is just In Space. An incredible, knowledgeable dude and a kind dude. Do you see a theme running with all these people that I'm talking about? The one thing that I've said about all of them, and it's not bullshit lip service. I sincerely mean this. These are all awesome people. There is also the wonderful Dave Maggot, who I was lucky enough to work with. Talk about chaotic energy, and again, he's kind of like Triv is. He knew all about the obscure and oddball movies out there that don't get talked about, the underground stuff. And again, he brought such a wonderful chaotic energy to it too, and we had such a good time. And there is also Movie Massacre, who I never have gotten to work with, but who I really enjoy his videos, and he's such a wonderful editor, and I know he's very knowledgeable about all things in the horror realm, and I defy anyone to not like Movie Massacre either. And the last person that I want to talk about that was on this wonderful group of people. Now, there's a few people I'm not mentioning because I didn't really know them, but the last person that I did know really well that I want to talk about on the Horror Hangouts crew is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. I love Jason to death. I think everybody does. Jason always brings in such interesting perspectives, and he's someone who generally goes against the grain. Movies that people will go, oh, that's a piece of shit. Jason will look at a movie and go, you know what, let's look at it a different way. And I always enjoyed him bringing in a different perspective on films, and he is, like everyone else, such a nice guy. And that has been my experiences with the Horror Hangout crew, guys. In conclusion, all I want to say is these are all fabulous people. They all have wonderful channels that you should definitely subscribe to, whether they're currently on Horror Hangouts or have moved on to bigger and better things. They are all amazing people, and like I said, this current group that I'm working with, I consider them family. And again, this is not bullshit lip service. I love each and every one of them. We're colleagues and we're friends, but we're also family, and that really means something because you hear a lot of toxicity in this community. But having Horror Hangouts and meeting all these wonderful people, what it has showed me is that there are some really great people in this community too, and the people that have been on Horror Hangouts are some of the brightest and finest, and I am so lucky and blessed to get to be a part of the group. And thank you, Sean, thank you, Lisa, thank you guys for allowing me to be a part of this thing. I love you guys, and hopefully you probably need a barf bucket after all that sappiness, but it happens to be true. So thank you guys for listening to my part of the segment, and keep on talking and watching horror, and I'll see you to the next one, guys.
So yeah, we heard talking about the Hammer Frankenstein series today. Going to be an epic show. Can't wait to talk all about Hammer Frankenstein.
Woohoo! Yay! Dead people coming back to life and having sex with them.
No, that's something different.
You watched the wrong movies.
Damn it!
You watched Flash for Frankenstein.
Yeah, I did.
Jen, Wankenstein was not a Hammer army.
Classic.
But I stayed up till 3 watching it.
You know, Dan and I were talking. They don't have there's no asylum movie that's Fartenstein. I feel like that.
Which I thought was very astounding, honestly. You would have thought some lo-fi SOB filmmaker would have jumped on that by now, but...
We'll see. We'll find out Friday.
I know, yes. John, what's coming up on the Horror Corner?
Well, I just did a couple of reviews. I just did a review of House of the Long Shadows.
Nice.
And speaking of the whole Hulk Hogan thing, I did a video about that. About when he got booed. And yeah, I did my review of The Substance.
Awesome review.
Yeah, no, yes.
The Megan action figure gun.
I did watch it, Sean. I'm sure it was a great review, but I didn't watch it.
Megan 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I hate all of you people. I fucking hate it, and I hate it when this stupid movie comes out. God damn it.
You know your DMs are going to be flooded with nothing but Megan dancing memes when that comes out, right?
Yeah, she's going to be breakdancing. All right, Chip, what's coming up on?
I fucking hate it. She's a pretender to the Chucky throne, and she needs to just go away because she's stupid. She's stupid, and I hate that stupid dance.
Tell us how you want to feel.
Stupid dance, damn it.
So away from the stupid dance, what are your thoughts on the character?
I hate it. There's nothing to her. She's not Chucky. They're trying to make her Chucky, and she's not Chucky.
No, honey, she's Megan.
Yes, right.
She's not Chucky. She's Megan. There's a
Good point.
There's a big difference.
ding, ding, ding.
She had a little bit of change. God damn it.
All right, Chip, what's coming up on Trivia Theater? What happened in the beginning of the first film, and the eventual tie up until the eventual sequel, and they go back to the past. So I thought they did a fantastic job. Yeah, it's sort of like when you have a great trilogy. 1978 is a great middle part of the trilogy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would agree. For sure, very much so.
The whole trilogy.
The whole trilogy is super underappreciated. I wish more people gave it the credit it deserves.
I wish, yeah, like you said, I wish this one, especially, and I think wish it was like people would think of this for Friday the 13th, you know, the ones, because it's a really great slide. It's taking nods to all the ones that.
But it still has, it doesn't have the problem of a lot of other modern slasher movies that are setting up the summer camp genre of feeling like they're just reusing and regurgitating the same stuff we saw from the 1980s done a little bit better. It still has a distinct identity all of its own and still feels modern, but like a really excellent send-up and throwback to those kind of films.
Just who can just be massive. C word. I'll be clean here and inject the C word. But that's but that's another character that's just horrifying, because if you've seen the movie, you know what she does, and just as a woman, you know, it's one thing to do it to other people, but don't do it to kids.
I don't know.
Don't cut out kids.
I don't know, those kids were annoying. They kind of had it coming.
What about you? I'm sorry it took so long.
Kind of going off your thing of like, you know, sometimes motherfuckers need to die. Most of the ones I'll probably bring up over the course of the evening are like a little bit more obscure indie and foreign films. But like the mainstream, my probably favorite mainstream female killer is probably as like tropey and as like cliche for me as it is Angela from the Sleepaway Camp series, but specifically the first film. Like I like her in 2 and 3. We don't talk about Sleepaway Camp 4, but like 2 and 3, I like Pamela Springsteen's portrayal of her. But like specifically that first movie version of Angela, where like she's incredibly sympathetic. That's something people kind of forget about with the original Sleepaway Camp, is how sympathetic it is to Angela's plight. Like, yeah, she goes around killing. She's the killer of the movie, and she's the villain of the movie. But like, everyone fucking deserved it. The fucking pedophile cooked, all the people who were just horrible to her, unendingly. Pretty much all of them kind of had it fucking coming.
Judy, don't forget Judy.
That bitch Judy. It's very interesting, especially given the trend.
Maybe the little kids that she slaughtered.
Okay, maybe not them, but they were kind of mean to her too, and she had fractured. She had a very fractured psyche due to all of her trauma from her childhood and stuff.
As Tiffany would say, it was just a little slip.
But yeah, like I always find that super fascinating. Like I don't know how intentional it really was with the original Sleepaway Camp, because a lot of that movie's genius, in my opinion, is them fumbling into actually making a brilliant social commentary. But like, I love how sympathetic to her plight the movie really is to Angela. Like it never really treats her like, yeah, she killed people, but like they all fucking just kind of deserve it. Which is, I love movies.
Guys, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. Now, Sean, our infamous leader from the Horror Corner, asked us to create a video as we are now celebrating the long-awaited celebration of the Horror Hangout live stream. I believe it's been going on for about 8 years now, if I got my math on right. I remember back at the time when we first started doing the Horror Hangout live stream, we used to do it on Google Hangouts. Remember those? And obviously we got the lovely t-shirts of the Horror Hangout live stream. Once again, thanks, Sean, for giving those out. Yes, and I really have enjoyed my time with the Horror Hangout live stream, obviously with Sean Erschen, Jen's Reviews in the Crave with Jen and Velvet, of course, Monty the Transpicture Show, and of course my favorite Trip from Trivia Theater, and all the old past guys that used to be on there, whether it was David, whether it was Bronco Juggalo Brad, Jason from Horrific Nightmares, JM, and we used to have a great time. And of course, Lisa Loves, which I call the Irish Princess of Horror, always had a great time with everyone doing all the live streams. I think one of the reasons why the Horror Hangout live stream is so successful is like we're not one of the big channel guys. We're not the Horror Show. We're not Cody Leach. We're not, some of the other big horror channels out there. But I think the reason why we're so successful is because we all get along with everybody. We're not in it for clicks or trying to get some money off of this, because first of all, we all love horror. This is like I love horror. Everyone else loves horror, and we all get along. And we might not disagree with anything. We might disagree or agree with everything, but we have very great conversations. And of course, nothing gets me going laughing at Jen rants, or even Marty when he rants too. Matter of fact, I love when everybody rants. I think another thing that we we are so successful is the people, the guests that we bring on, whether it's my good friend Rainbow Fright, DeRay, some of the other guests that we've had on before, whether it's Patrick, some of the other people that we've had on before. And obviously we got to give thanks for Christopher, who decided to create the Horror Hangout live stream way back. I think it was 2018, if I got that right, when he created this one, getting a bunch of small YouTubers together and just sitting around and talking about horror. And like I said, we had some great conversations, whether we're talking about old school horror, the 70s, slashers, sci-fi, anything like right this weekend. The next coming up, we're talking about all the Chucky films. I believe that will make Jen very happy. But we will talk about Megan, Jen. I just had to throw that in there. Yeah, like I said before, really have enjoyed the great time that we've had, whether I'm hosting, whether Sean hosting, whether Marty hosting. We all get along with each other, and we all love each other, and I believe that's one of the reasons why we have been so successful throughout the whole entire time for the Horror Hangout live stream, because we all love horror, and that's the main thing is. We all love horror. We respect each other's opinions. Yeah, we might get overboard sometimes. Yes, I'm talking to you, Jan, and you, Trev, but we all love each other. I think that's one of the reasons why the Horror Hangout stream is very successful. So once again, that's my little celebration here. Really not much I can say, but I'm pretty sure everyone else will be saying the same thing or anything more. I think one of the great things I actually liked about the Horror Hangout stream is because we get to see Velvet talk about how much he hated the Scream franchise. It still cracks me up. I think it's one of the better live streams that we have when he admitted that he did not like the Scream franchises. And of course, we've all had, whether it's unpopular horror opinions, some things that we like that other people don't like, or some things that other people like but you like. I think it's one of the great reasons why we get along so well, is because we get on here and talk about everything and then still enjoy it. I think it's one of the reasons why we get along so well. So once again, I truly love you guys. You guys are awesome. We're all awesome because we all love horror just as much as I do. So once again, we're going to be back again this Tuesday talking about the Chucky, all the Chucky films. And of course, as always, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember that horror rules.
Wow.
There you go.
Don't get me started.
No, she's about to start.
I have a feeling there's going to be at least one question later on that's going to get gonna light up this stream something fierce.
Fucking bottle blonde bitch trying to no fucking soul.
Save it for later.
Later, right, Sean, sorry.
Monty G, what are your thoughts on the original Child's Play from 1988?
Yeah, I was, of course, older when Child's Play first came out, and I was very impressed because at the time it was, we just had, we had the original, we had the Holy Trinity, Jason, Michael, and Freddy. Mm-hmm. And to see this little guy come up, I actually thought it was a very ingenious idea to have a killer doll in the mix that actually was alive. He transferred his soul into a good guy doll. Well, we always get the voodoo aspects of the film. I really did enjoy the film. It's something very different as opposed to what we've seen before in horror films. And I thought, Brad Dourif did a good job. Chris Sarandon did a good job. Catherine Hicks, yes. Even though she didn't like horror movies at all, see her surprise in a horror movie. Although she didn't start it, I thought she was a good one. And of course, the kid that plays Andy, I forgot his name.
Alex Victor.
Alex.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Vincent,
Yep,
thank you.
Vincent, yeah. He got his career in playing Andy. And like I said, really did enjoy Child's Play, like I said, because something totally different. And Ozzy would create the next horror icon with Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Hey, Sean, so use whatever you want of this. If you need to trim it up, go forth and do the thing. You know what you're doing. So I came on as a guest in April 2023, and I was kind of blown away by the opportunity because I'm not traditionally a horror channel. I do a lot of horror content, but I'm not traditionally known as that. It's so being invited on meant more than I can say. It's
actually quite a large honor. So, without getting too gushy, that I've learned so much when it comes to horror, and it's with each month and everything that we cover, it's made me go outside my knowledge of horror and made me revisit a lot of things that I haven't watched in ages. And that's, it's been such a cool journey, and I wouldn't have had that if it hadn't been for being part of this live stream. Everyone that's been a part of this, be they guest or one of the regulars, has just been such an interesting and fun experience. Everyone has been just incredible across the board, and to every one of the regulars, Monty, you are so fucking awesome, man. I love the Horror Miser. It's just the knowledge and just the theater experience you bring with you. I love, because you get to see all of these things in front of a big screen the way that so many of these movies are meant to be seen, and that's such a cool thing. And Marty, my god, man, your knowledge of just all things like horror and pop culture blows my ever-loving mind. And Jen and Velvet, I love you guys so much. Just, you constantly make me laugh, and I learn so much, and the perspectives that you bring are fantastic. And Sean, the amount of epic that sits in that chair overwhelms me. Like, I don't know how big your collection is, and I don't know how deep your knowledge goes. But if it's anything, if it's even a remote bit of what you have, what you show on stream, my god, you guys mean the world, and it has been my absolute pleasure to be a part of this. And I will never feel worthy, but I'm so glad to be here, and it's a highlight of my month, and I have binged more stuff in the past year and change than I have any time previous, and it has been a fucking amazing ride, and I can't wait to see what we tackle next. I'm going to start with, I am so late to the party, and I'm sure this will revoke part of my horror cred, but I just saw Pearl and X.
Good choices.
Fantastic set of movies. I can't wait for Maxine. But holy crap, like, just it lives in those eras, and the time and effort that Ty West put into everything was just astonishing.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
And Scarecrow fucking.
Oh yeah, no. When in doubt. When in doubt. Yeah, no. As a huge fan of old movies, and to be able to see like from the late teens to kind of see how life was then, and they did such a great job of kind of living in that space, and I really appreciated that. And Maya Goth, obviously, like playing against herself in X, and then playing Pearl as a young lady.
One of my favorite things about the Horror Hangouts live stream has always been all the awesome guests that we've had over the years. So many amazing people, so many great YouTubers, so many people with a wealth of knowledge in the horror genre. And sometimes we just have some really cool people that we're friendly with, And some people are so great we've had them on multiple times, and we'll probably continue to. But it's always a blast hearing from different people with their thoughts and their knowledge in the horror genre. There'll be certain times we'll have one specific topic, and then we'll bring in someone that's like an expert on that particular topic, so that's always fun. But yeah, we've had a lot of the smaller YouTubers, and maybe give them a little bit of help with some exposure, and sometimes we've had some bigger YouTubers come on here that help give us some exposure, Works both ways, but at any rate, it's been so great. I thank everyone that's ever been a guest on the Horror Hangouts live stream. So here's a look at some of the great guests we've had over the years. Check it out.
Like pan back and forth from everybody, if I remember right.
Yeah. So I just throw one out and then we go.
Pretty much, yeah. Kind of.
Okay.
That's usually what we do.
Okay. First one I'm gonna start with is one that I just rewatched, and that's Alien Romulus.
Ooh, okay.
I was very frustrated by the Alien franchise after Aliens.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Alien 3. I'm not a fan of Alien Resurrection. I kind of appreciated Alien vs. Predator, the first one, just because Lance Henriksen was in it, and it kind of was a little fun and reminded me of the comic books. The second Alien versus Predator, I'm not a big fan of because you can't see half of it. Prometheus, I did like Prometheus, and I think I liked that because you were trying something different. You were taking a character that is in one scene in Alien, and you're going, okay, well, what is this character about? Because at that point, they were just calling him the space jockey, and the fact that they were working now like the creation of life, and I said, well, this is interesting. Where can we go with this? And then I felt like the next movie just betrayed all of that. What they did with Noomi Rapace's character angered me so badly. I was like going, are you serious? You took this great character in Prometheus, and in Alien Covenant, she was an experiment for David. And I'm like going, so they just tore her apart and you just see like what's left of her in this one scene. And I'm like, and for Ridley Scott to do that, it just really just soured me. So when I heard about the new one, and I like Fede Alvarez's movies, and I just said, well, I'm curious how this is going to work. And I like that it was between Alien and Aliens, and I just love the cast. I thought Rain and Andy were two great characters that I could get behind. The other characters were more kind of just victims, I guess you can say that. I mean, but it just was so compelling, and I love the fact that they did work in some of what they had tried to establish with those Prometheus films. You know, the whole thing with the black goo and things like that. So you're going, okay, they haven't completely abandoned it. But just for this one, for me, and I love Alien, I love Aliens, this felt like a perfect middle chapter to those movies. Yeah. And rewatching it, I've watched it 4 times now. Every time I watch it, I pick up something new, just in terms of like how Romulus and Remus both looked a little bit different. Like one is more reminiscent of Alien, the other one's more reminiscent of Aliens in terms of the technology. There's little things like that, and I just think they did a great job, and they did practical effects. Of course, they used some CGI, but at the end of the day, I want to see more. I want to see more with that. So yeah, that's my first one.
And of course, my favorite Irishman, Marty from the Trash Picture Show.
How you doing?
And once again, joining us is the lovely The Dice Be Rollin', Dice Rollin'.
Hey.
Don't you just love that little hashtag we created for you, Dice?
Oh, bless you, yeah. We gotta have some hashtags in here, we're on social media.
Hashtag we want dice.
Hashtag
we want for many things.
Hashtag we want Cody.
Yes, we're wrestling nerds.
Yes, we are wrestling nerds.
Hashtag penis?
Now that?
Only less than a minute. She's at it.
Everybody check
as long as we get past the 90-second mark, we're good to go.
Full moon.
Full moon.
Now, let's get to something I know Nick wants to talk about. He's probably dying to talk about it. Hellfest.
Hellfest. Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, I don't know how many of you guys caught my my Slashback, part of Joe's new series there that I'm really digging. That was one of my recent reviews, and it was just one of those things that it just caught my eye at Walmart. I knew it was coming out, and I just picked it up in my hands, and I thought, I have just a weird feeling this is going to be like just trash. It's going to be generic. But by the end of it, I was thinking like, okay, I like this so much that this guy, even though he doesn't look maybe different enough to be like that new horror icon that like Christian's like looking for. I'm kind of worried that like he might not get that much movement going, and enough new fans, but I really like it. It felt like an awesome, at least a new modern slasher that it just felt as cool as like the first viewing of like Saw. Like I thought the setting and everything just was really like so much work went into that, and I thought it was really, really creepy and really, I don't know, just like what we need right now. But yeah, I'd like to see that turn into a franchise, but I don't know if he's different enough looking. But man, the twist at the end, if you guys haven't seen that, I don't want to say it, but wow. Yeah,
I know that Mark Patton wasn't an openly gay actor, but it's clear why he got the job. Like, nobody else is gonna be able to play it the way he could. I love Mark Patton too. Like, he's so awesome.
He is.
Yeah. It just makes it scarier to me too, because if it is about, you know, a guy who's gay and he's battling with his sexuality and Freddie taunts it, that's terrifying to me. And every single second, every scene in that movie with Freddie, he's not in it that much, right? But every single scene, you stand up, you lean up a little bit, because it's insane how good he is in that. Everything with Freddie in that movie, that's the best Freddie to me. It's the scariest. It's the best makeup. All the lines that he has in that movie, to me, that's the devil. I kind of look at part 2 as like my new nightmare. Like, maybe that wasn't even the Freddy that you see from 1, 3, or 4. Like, that was somebody else, because that sucker was evil. So, but yeah, totally. Of course they knew. I think that the guy who wrote it was even like, yeah, you know, that's what it was about. But, you know, I didn't know they were going to actually cast a gay actor, because Mark wasn't open about it yet. But
No, he was still fighting his whole. He was still kind of feeling.
Yeah, he did not come out at the time, because because at the time when I watched it, I didn't really think anything.
Movies like this, they keep doing the name switch thing
because it's funny.
It is funny. So like, these are my 2 favorite movies from these 2 studios, and it hurt me to say this, but Vampire Lovers wins for me.
Oh my God! No, both a point to Universal,
feels the tides are
point to
turning.
Hammer, and Fiend has finally broken his Universal streak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Team Carmilla over here. I feel like
shocking.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to
Hammer.
turn these glaring lights on for a second, but have you seen the new collector's edition of Vampire Lovers, Sean?
Love the cover, yeah.
That's
Very
tempting.
nice.
It is very nice. It's got a nice new slipcover, and it has more special features. There's a documentary on different film incarnations of Carmilla, narrated by Madeline Smith.
Have to get that.
I have to get that shit. That's nice.
And I've never seen, I cannot spot any references to Rob Zombie's Halloween, except for maybe the peanut butter on the dick joke, because they mention shit like that in his movies so much.
What about the kill in the bathroom?
Which one?
Yeah.
What do you mean
You don't
the kill
think that was at the beginning, you know, before he gets the mask and he kills the 2 reporters?
That's an H2O. That's an H2O scene.
Yeah, but the brutality when he's slamming his head in the freaking.
I don't think so.
stall,
I think he drops those teeth, and that's straight up H2O. I don't.
Like a hybrid of the 2, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't catch me Rob Zombie vibes when
I didn't
killing
either.
in the bathroom.
Because I'm assuming you're referencing when he kills what's the dude's name? The big guy. He's in all the fucking Rob Zombies movies.
Ken Foree. Yeah.
What's his name?
Ken Foree.
No, in the movie. What's his name?
Oh, God.
Joe Grizzly, bitch.
Thank you, yeah.
It has something to do with bears. I think it's something.
I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch.
Yeah. Like I didn't really think of it because it's a woman and it's just not the same kind of thing. And he's killing 2 people in there. Right? It's, to me, that's a total 2018 thing, just more brutal. Yeah.
Probably right.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that, but you're.
Good evening, folks, and we got some brand new merchandise for you over at www.thehorrorcona.com, and that's CONA.com. Representing the Horror Corner. Great new design. We got the Morbid Hour live stream there, you got the Horror Hangout live stream there, and you got my nemesis, the Dark Fate. So grab your t-shirt over at www.thehorrorcona.com. And we also got this beautiful new mug. Look at that. Very, very cool. Thought that came out really nice. So grab your merchandise today over at www.thehorrorcona.com. Folks, don't forget to grab your Sean Patrick Erschen gear and represent the Horror Corner. Also, check out these awesome mugs we have. Perfect for your coffee. And definitely check out the Horror Hangout live stream t-shirt and represent the legacy of the Horror Hangout. Check out the link in the description below this video.